them come. This is their fate.
All right. Oh, let me do my Birdman. Almost forgot about the Birdman. All right. Welcome back to the House of Wolves podcast. I am your host, Deontay. Here are my near and dear friends, Jalen and Josh. Got quite a few topics for today, so I want to get right into it. Make sure we're not keeping you for the longest of times. Jalen, Josh, update the people, what y'all been doing, what y'all been playing, how y'all been. Life is great. What y'all is it bad? Let the people know.
Man, take it away, my boy.
Shoot, everything good. Boy passes board exam, so I'm good, certified. Don't add me. No, I'm just fine. No, but I'm good. Everything's smooth. I'm done with school. I passed on board exam, so I've been having time to not do nothing. Super blessed. Like to thank the committee, and not just one.
What committee? Thank the committee.
And a friendship committee, man. What would I be without y'all?
I guess.
But yeah, that, and really, I've been trying to do something different. So I've been like actually playing games. I just bought Watch Dogs 2. Don't say nothing to me about me buying this old game. It's only $5. Like, and I wanted to play it, so I'm playing it. I'm actually playing the game. So
And that's a good deal.
Yeah. How many missions you complete yet?
I got to the part where I ran into the dude you ran into at the beginning of the game.
Oh, okay. So you talked to him again, got you. So you kind of like getting introduced to the gang and like, right? Or not no, you're talking about the bunhead guy.
The CEO dude.
Yeah, the bunhead. Yeah, okay, I got you.
Yeah, so I felt like that's
like 30%, 40%, maybe 30.
Yeah, something. It's a significant event, so I'm like, all right, that they usually try to space these events out.
Yeah. That's good. I see you out here, my boy. He getting
I figured
the game.
I figured I'd make y'all proud, man.
Make us proud to play that game. He's like, yeah, I got some interest in it. That was back in 2015. Now that was a while ago. But now you get into it, man. It took him a while, but you know that man finished what he started.
Better late than never.
Better late than never. That's right.
And next thing you know, he gonna finish Okami.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that game cooked, bro.
That game is cooked, bro. If it don't catch me in the first 10 minutes or like good 30, 40 minutes, I ain't gonna play it all the way through. So that game.
I mean,
he played more than that. You played a while.
Yeah, I played for a minute. I just stopped playing for a little bit, and I kept having to find myself to find where I was at in a walkthrough to help me know where to go in the next spot. And I'm just kind of like, I can't keep doing this.
Yeah. All right. Well, good update. Finally, good to hear from you. Good to get to know that you're actually doing you playing some games for our gaming podcast. What about you, Josh?
And I've been doing the most out here, completing games.
Oh my god! Right. Oh yeah, I forgot about you, Mister. Run it up. Go ahead. Let them know.
Yeah, I got a bunch of games on my backlog that I'm trying to get through. Went back to Sekiro. Completed that this week. I enjoyed it. We might talk about. Well, we got a lot to talk about, but maybe we'll touch on it. I enjoyed it more once I actually fully understood what how they want you to play the game.
Yeah.
Because before it really just wasn't clicking. I felt like I felt like I was doing my best. I understood everything, but it was just like punishing. But once I understood, like, they want you to use different abilities and blah, 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 it was a lot more enjoyable. I finished Horizon this week and the Frozen Wilds.
Oh, the Frozen Wilds too? Wow.
Yeah. But, I mean, still, main story of Frozen Wilds is still shorter.
Yeah, it is.
But I don't know. I think I like Frozen Wilds a little more just because it was more focused story, and I thought it was Horizon overall is just, of course, one of the prettiest games ever made.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt like Frozen Wilds was prettier just because, I don't know, the environment
The
Uh,
snow effects. Oh yeah,
yeah, the
it
snow and the
looked nice.
sunlight and everything looked really nice. It
Mountaintops.
was okay. It was never my like style of game because I kind of over open world games, but
Hmm.
it was okay. I'm at least interested in seeing the sequel, and I'm halfway through God of War, so we'll see how that goes. But
Yeah, that's
I'm gonna
good. That's good.
try to
That's
do over the
good.
next 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Get through these games.
I never asked you like what made you want to like start to just push push out some completions for these games. Maybe you'll touch on it, but yeah, kind of the same thing. When he said that he going back to Sekiro, I said, all right, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna fight Inshin. So I played that game totally wrong throughout the
Mhm.
entirety of the game. So when I got to whatever his name, it's like
Ishin, or yeah.
Ishin,
Mhm.
yeah. When I got to him, I was very underleveled. I didn't only could get hit twice, and I didn't have like any of the I didn't have most of the prosthetic tools that would help the fight be easier. So I'm locked out of pretty much a lot of places once you get to that fight.
Yeah,
Obviously, he's the final boss, so it becomes even more like, do I want to go grind or do I just want to learn how to play him? So that's what I did. It took me like 6 hours, but I learned every phase and I whooped him.
yeah,
It was very nice to beat him, but it didn't feel like I said, I didn't play the game the right way. It didn't feel like it was like a weight off my shoulder. I was like, I just wanted to get him out the way, but it wasn't like an accomplishment because I felt like if I probably would have played it the way it was supposed to be played, I probably would have beat him a long time ago. I just didn't do that.
yeah.
So that means I
And
didn't engage with the mechanics as I should have, and kind of you're losing out on that experience of the game, I suppose.
I'd say that is the fault of the game because
Yeah.
like I bounced off of it and probably a lot of other people bounced off it just because like their games are always like not well explained and things like that. But that game is a lot worse, whereas it's a lot of mechanics that are not good mixed in with like it being secretive about stuff. Like there's no reason they should lock you out of certain merchants and things like that or certain areas once you get to the end of get to a certain point in the game because it's not like they even tell you you can't go past go back past this point. um and then like I said in the beginning I felt like the prosthetics were useless. They cost um ammo and all type of stuff and they don't do a lot of damage. So but once you actually get to a certain point in the game it become a lot easier. You get enough health that you can like not worry about getting one shot and stuff like that.
Hmm.
We
Yes.
just playing that all the way wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Jalen, you kind of played it the same way I did, and it was very much so annoying. Um, but I mean, I got through it. Whatever. I ended up beating it. It just that I probably would have had more of a fun if I would have did it a different way. So that's pretty
Do
much.
y'all like
Oh,
do y'all
go ahead.
like that combat? Because like I know people love Bloodborne
Yes.
and Bloodborne's combat. I feel like I like Sekiro's combat a lot, but I feel like in that game maybe it was like I don't know if the game was too long or like they push.
They pushed you a
I
little
guess
bit
they
to your
overdid it.
limits.
Yeah, they
Yeah, they
overdid
pushed
it
you to
in
your
that game.
limits in a lot of
Yeah,
different
they
ways.
but I like the combat a lot. So if I was hoping that in Elden Ring they would have like some of the mechanics, just like
Yeah.
you get this weapon you could parry, but they didn't bring it back. But I would still be interested in seeing like another game with similar combat, but maybe like fleshed out in other ways. So you only thing you gotta feel like you have to parry every single thing.
I think Sekiro, once you step back and replay it, you probably have more fun than you played the first time through because you know
Yeah,
more, you understand more, and you're able to sense their attacks. So that game was truly like the very first that made you feel like you was an actual, um, you know, I wouldn't. I guess they're not samurais. They are samurais, right?
Shinobi.
They're shinobis. It made you feel like you really had to time your attacks properly, and it probably would really translate well. Maybe not because it's like so much, but maybe it translates to a nice VR game because you kind of like that is all you're doing. You're literally you're timing different hits and attacks. So maybe you push forward to do like your Mercurius counter, or you just move the sword in a certain way in order to start doing the parries and like trying to deflect. But
Mhm.
those satisfaction from coming from deflecting, you ain't gonna get that nowhere else. Like if you're
Yeah,
really playing a different game, that deflection timing is so freaking addicting that you always want to deflect everything that come your way. So it makes it feel more of a like a true battle versus just pushing a button because you're like
yeah,
I'm finna time these frames. I'm about to cut you up. So it and then they give you that satisfying death blow where you like all that work just paid off. Boy, you did all that moving and jumping and all that shaking, but I'm sitting here with just deflecting and I'm on your head. So it
hmm
always felt rewarding to win in that game. It just felt like overload. And the way I play games, I like to try to tend to beat them in a sitting. I don't want to come back to it more than once because then I forget mechanics. I get rusty and I have to try and do it all over again, just like I did with Inshin. But that game, it's like sometimes you might need a break or you might need to figure out the core mechanics and truly explore it. But it felt so punishing to explore in that game sometimes that it was just like, if I get off the beaten
yeah.
path and I go run
Every
down here, maybe it's gonna be even harder enemies, and I'm gonna get
yeah,
KO. So I don't want to explore. It made me feel like you know, it made me feel like I just need to stay on a beaten path and I can get through it because you literally only got one sword. You don't have upgrades. Those upgrades are so you don't have many upgrades. They're not necessary, but they are very very much so helpful when you get to the end game. So
yeah, because you run into a random enemy and be fighting them for 2 hours and get tilted, and
yeah,
that's what kept happening to me. Like I can't beat Kinitro. The I ran out of the seeds to fight the old lady, and I thought like I gotta go farm them. And you
mm,
run into a random like mini boss, and then I can't parry the dudes with the spears because they keep killing me, and
yeah,
so I give up. But yeah, once you like get used to the mechanics and like Mercury counters, like it's a very short time to do it, but once you learn how to do it, um, like you just get really good at it. Because I this time when I started over, I decided like, all right, I need to know Mercury counter. So I'm gonna spend 10 minutes on the training do and just only keep
mm,
doing that for 10 minutes. And like once I got it, it was like no issue anymore. But that's a different type of mindset versus, you playing God of War or Devil May Cry. You just want to go in and fight and dodge.
yeah,
And it don't really work like that. Well, you can do it, but you have a much harder time. And I guess what I did like about it is the prosthetics are, I don't know, I like the prosthetics a lot, but the
mm,
ammo and a lot of other reasons I feel like they're not prominent enough that they should be. Like I wish you just had free access to them and without having to worry about ammo, like maybe just make it a little cooldown
yeah,
because they all have really good effects on certain enemies. Like my problem is that I thought it was supposed to be good in every fight, but they're really super specific to certain enemies. Like the axe, of course, is good against the shield dudes, but the what is it? The shuriken is good against certain bosses. Like you can knock the butterfly lady out the air with it, or
mm,
the umbrellas are good in a bunch of fights, especially against the ghosts. And like once you actually get all the tools, it's really useful. And like for me, the final boss was kind of easy. Like I still fought him a bunch, but it became easy because like, oh, I mastered the first two phases. In these last two phases, I got this teleport tool that helps me get out of the lightning. So I can parry the lightning if I want to,
mm,
or I can just teleport out the way and don't gotta worry about it.
right. So yeah, like I said, it more so taking that stuff that they provide throughout the game and using it, but it's really trying to figure out how to get to that stuff and understanding that exploring is key. And even if it is punishing, so that's something you want to do. I, on other hand, like I said, kind of sped through it. But just to move forward here, we wanted to talk about Ubisoft, some of the things that they're doing over there. They had a pretty big showing for Skull and Bones. I'm not sure if you guys even remember this game, but it was a game that was announced quite a while ago, like right after Black Flag, I think. And literally it went dark. And for it to come back with this, let's discuss. So, I think we were all seeing some portion of the showing, right? Jalen, Josh,
Yeah.
y'all both seen something about it, right?
Yeah, I actually spent like 30 minutes watching them.
Yeah, I watched the
Appreciate you.
trailers that came out.
Appreciate you. So Skull and Bones is an open world ship game. It's kind of trying to take Black Flag elements and expand upon that. You're going to be going to outposts. It's kind of a more modernized Sea of Thieves, to say. I mean, like graphics and like capabilities. I'm not sure if it's like fully fleshed out as Sea of Thieves. I don't play Sea of Thieves, but what Skull and Bones is trying to do is capitalize on that massive multiplayer online service and add in their take on that for a ship-based crew game where you can create a crew and kind of take your helms to the streets or to the sea. Let's talk about core mechanics first. Ship customization, combat. When I played Black Flag, what I loved about Black Flag was the ability to board ships. The ability to say, oh, I want to take this crew on head to head real quick. I don't want to just blow them out the sky. I want to actually get in there and I want to use my sword. I want to kind of fight. I thought that was really fun. I thought it was really cool mechanic. And I thought Skull and Bones was going to expand on that mechanic more than the ship fights. Ship fights weren't that interesting. You just was running around in a circle multiple times, just trying to get your lining and aiming together. And then you would just try to shoot them and break down their ships. It was fun taking out the smaller fleets and then, boarding the big fleet to kind of take over. And that's that pirate feel, I suppose. Skull and Bones opted to not have any any sword gameplay at all. It's all ship combat. I don't know if that was a good idea because one of the elements I enjoyed about that was really the ship like really using swords. So that was one of the things that kind of was like, that's a miss. You should have included that. But what was some of the things I guess that y'all saw that stuck out to y'all? That was one for me. I can't say one positive. It looks like they're trying to make it fun. I don't know if it's coming across that way, to be honest, with most people and how they took it. At least it seems as if they're excited for the game, but they're always excited for their games. I just don't know if it's going to resonate well. But yeah. Let's talk about combat customization. What's your thoughts on that, and anything that you guys have that's unique or want to talk about, but that you saw?
Yeah. So I'll go. Like you said, it was announced a while ago because they were taking ship combat out of the Assassin's Creed game, so they were gonna make a separate game. And people were like, okay, cool, that's good because I still like this, and then you can continue on do the separate thing with Assassin's Creed. And so on paper, I think it's a good idea because that it was a fun portion of the game for me. Like I enjoyed it. in like Assassin's Creed 3 because I didn't play Black Flag, but I played it in 3 and I liked the ship combat and I feel like they could have added more to make it like fully fleshed out and fun.
Hmm.
Um, so for this, it could be fun, like exploring the sea, attacking other ships, and since it's multiplayer, random people can pull up on you and like you fight over loot or attack you, stuff like that. And so like it could make a fun dynamic to the game. But
Hmm.
like you said, I think that the the ship combat on its own, I don't know. For me, I'm not that interested in just the ship combat on its own. I would rather be in like a full pirate game. Like
Yeah.
obviously there's Sea of Thieves, but it's its own like I don't know role playing thing where it's more about like community and stuff and not like a fully I don't know. I guess it is fully fleshed out, but their goals are a lot different with what you do in that game versus something like a multiplayer Assassin's Creed pirate game, which was
Mhm.
I think the original idea behind it.
Yeah.
So not being able to jump on ships and stuff like that. For me, I was thinking like it seems like you can walk around towns and go to shops and stuff, but you know, what else? Like, are there caves to explore and like, go in and get loot and like you take that loot back to your ship. Like that's what you do in Sea of Thieves. Like you go into a cave, you get the loot and bring it back to your ship.
But if there's
Because
no
that
like on land combat, that seems weird. So that's why I was
yeah.
confused by like not having, the ability to board ships and kind of have that type of combat.
Hmm.
I do think that they extensively try to make the ship combat better, and that's enough of an interest to me to be able to kind of move around your ship and the actual individuals on the ships and try to individually use this weapon versus this weapon. They're basically allowing for you have tank classes, you have health. I don't even
Hmm.
think you got health classes, but it's like it feels as if they want you to kind of run multiple different types of ships. Like you have
Yeah,
your
ship
ship that's faster, but
classes.
it doesn't have a lot of it can't take much damage. You got a tank, but it moves slower, and then you have these things. They want you to fit into these different classes. Um, and I don't know if that. I mean that makes it balanced when it comes to fighting ships. You can spot a ship that's faster. Like, hey, I could probably take that on. I'm a big tank or something like that. I just would rather also still have that chance to beat a bigger ship like that. And I feel like that all comes down to that combat and really fleshing that out, the hand to hand or the sword to sword combat. Because even if I'm outnumbered, I could possibly board a different ship and take on something like that. But I know that's a lot of mechanics to deal with, especially stealing people's ships, and
Mhm.
taking their ship and using that to fight the next combat and like turning it against them. That sounds so much fun to me. Like trying
Mhm.
to hold on a crew and we just running on board other people's ships, taking them, killing other people with them, and then jumping back in our own ship. Like that sounds
Yeah.
fun, but it's kind of like that aspect of it is not there. So I really want to get more information on the game before I judge it too
Yeah.
harshly, and that's why I'm kind of just staying reserved. As in, they look like they're interested in making a good game, and that's all that matters to me. To give it some type of time of day. The ship
For
combat wasn't
me,
like terrible, so.
I want to see if even if they don't got like on like fully fleshed out like sword combat and stuff. I want to see more all of their mechanics that they've had over the Assassin's Creed games. Because
Hmm.
like I think Black Flag was the peak of their ship combat, and the other games they had ship combat, but it was different.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah,
you
most
use
definitely.
fire and stuff on the other ones, but in Valhalla you can like and they have bases or castles that you attack in this one, but having some element of like I don't know, you blow open the gate, the castle, and then your crew running there and take stuff. Just having it seems like a fully ship to land combat, even if you're not necessarily fully deep as like the Assassin's Creed games, that would be nice.
Yeah.
But even if it's just strictly ship combat, having more interesting stuff to do in the sea is good. Like I think in the first trailer they showed like your ship getting attacked by like a kraken or something. And from these recent trailers, they haven't shown any stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But like having stuff to do in the open world, like multiplayer wise, because like of course you can always do PvP combat, 3 on 3 or however many ships are out there. But having random events in the sea that you can use to test like like you say, your build or your team's abilities fighting, like I guess they just have like a strong ship, but having just weird stuff in the sea like ghost ships and giant
Mm-hmm.
monsters and stuff like that can make it be even more interesting because they can be rare, you know,
Events.
events. Yeah.
Now I know they said they're gonna have community events that you can join in, kind of like Final Fantasy or like the
Hmm.
Diablo that's coming out, where you can have like big events that occur and you can take them on, which seems really cool too. But it really truly feels like they're trying. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Jalen, did you have any thoughts or something that you saw that stuck out to you?
Not specifically. I just watched it. I didn't feel like I was like super interested. I feel like Ubisoft games, they always got like this like they multiplayer games got like this like similar like baseline, but they just try to do like um different mediums, I guess, but they all
Mm-hmm.
seem similar to each other. Um, and I didn't realize when they didn't have the sword combat because, like I say, the video you sent me was like an hour or some change long. I watched like 30 minutes of it, and I did see like a little bit of the ship combat and stuff like that, but I didn't know it wasn't like any sword combat or so. I thought stuff might change a little bit. I was honestly expecting to see a little bit of I ain't gonna say exactly like For Honor gameplay, but maybe something because it's like swords and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's Ubisoft, so I thought they was gonna reuse some assets and stuff in the game or whatever, which would have been
Um.
okay. But I mean, like I ain't never been a pirate and stuff before. But other than that, though, man, I don't really got no opinion and stuff on the game and stuff. I looked at a little bit of the customization and stuff like that. It wasn't like it like wowed me. I think the biggest thing it seemed like I was thinking it'd be similar to like not similar, but kind of closer to like the Destiny experience and stuff like that, where you like with your boys and stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
um, I mean, like I said, I ain't going too deep into it and stuff like that to actually understand um how the multiplayer and everything will work and stuff. So, but like I said, it just seemed like a
Yeah,
Ubisoft multiplayer game through a different medium.
that's fair because I feel like they have really good ideas in their multiplayer games, but for different reasons in each game, they're not fully realized for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I really like For Honor, like when it came out, like I think the combat was interesting because like there were no other games with that type of combat, and it was still multiplayer. So I felt like we got on and played a lot, and which we don't really play what multiplayer melee games, but the overall package probably was lacking with different things like progression and balance that made it like certain people fall off. Obviously, the game is still around. It's probably still popular in some communities, but I don't know. Ubisoft games, I feel like they need a little bit more than what time or money or whatever than they get to
Mm-hmm.
actually uh, hit to like a level like a Destiny. Obviously, Destiny's the best, but they could do a little bit more in all of their games, and it seems like they don't. So same thing with this. We wish there are other things in it. It might still be fun, and people will probably play it a lot. But I don't know. I don't know why their games feel like not finished, or
Just lacking in areas.
yeah,
Um, I mean, yeah, and that's where people were having big gripes about it look like Black Flag, and they like the graphics don't look like up to par for a game this size and the game that's been missing for so long. I'm okay with the graphics looking the way they are. Honestly, if the gameplay is solid, I'll still play it. Graphics are important for presentation and getting buy-in, but it's not the end all be all most times. But especially for these larger, bigger games where Like I'm sitting here playing Risk of Rain 2 and I'm having the most fun I played in the game in a while, and that's not something spectacular. It's just a gameplay that's fun and engaging. So it's really about that element to kind of keep me moving, push the envelope forward. So, uh, um, it's out November 8th. They have some live tests that people can register for. So check that out at skullandbonesgames.com/live. It's coming out on Xbox, PS5, PC, USB, Ubisoft Connect, Stadia, and Luna. Which is interesting that see Stadia. I think they have a partnership with them to force them to make their games still on Stadia. But uh, that's Skull and Bones. That's the segment. But we still have some more Ubisoft information or Ubisoft news. So Ubisoft did their whole decommissioning thing. I'm not sure if you guys remember or aware, but they decommissioned a lot of DLC games and games on Steam. DLC content, I'm sorry, in games on Steam. The good news is that we have some new clarification that the Ubisoft Steam games will remain playable despite the warning, but the DLC is what will not be available anymore. I don't really care about
Was that
the games.
the
Oh, go
most
ahead.
updated one?
Yeah, that was the most updated one that came out to mid today. So
Because I thought, well, I don't know if they clarified it or not. Because we saw that initially, but then Liberation specifically, what has a tag on it that says it'll be no longer to access in September,
right,
which is
September
different
1st of
than
22.
yeah. So you can still play it if you have it downloaded because it has two notices. Like you can't buy this game anymore, and then after September, you will no longer be able to access this game.
Right. It will not be accessible, and it won't be playable at all. Will actually be able to access affected games. As stated, the future current owners of those games will be able to access, play, and re-download them. So our teams are
Okay,
working with
yeah.
partners to update this information across all storefronts, and are also assessing all available options for players who will be impacted when these games' online services are decommissioned on September 1st. So from my understanding, that's what they're saying. That Ubisoft Senior Corporate Communication Manager Jessica Roach said
Okay.
this. So I'm assuming that's accurate. But basically, they would be able to continue to download. It's just that the DLC stuff will not be able to be down to
Mhm.
be a, be able to be played. So um, I didn't really care about the Ubisoft stuff. I don't really care about the games like that. But I guess it was interesting from my standpoint of this whole digital age, right? And the ability for companies to not no longer support or even decommission games on Steam, which is very weird to me. There's games very old on Steam that's not been decommissioned yet. Um, for some reason, this game has. I don't understand I'm confused by the decommissioning unless there's like another available game out there that's like a remaster or whatever. Um, it doesn't make sense. But what also is interesting is that the DLC, I'm not sure if this is online stuff or not, is not going to be accessible. Um,
So
you
the
got a
Ubisoft one is
better understanding of that? Because I don't.
yeah, because remember all Ubisoft games they go through Uplay. Even if you're on console, it connects to Uplay for all their purchasing and stuff like that. But a lot of the older games, specifically like Assassin's Creed, the DLC had to be activated on Uplay. So you got the code or whatever on the sheet of paper with the disc, but you still have to activate it and download it through Uplay. So all of the games like Assassin's Creed 2, Black Flag, and all the older ones, you're not going to be able to access the DLC even if you own the DLC. I don't remember which games had like extensive DLC that you paid for, but uh, the point is you'll no longer be able to access them because it won't connect to Uplay anymore because they're getting rid of the online functionality of it. Um, and so that sucks for those games. Me personally, like I said, I don't remember any DLC specifically that's like I would be missing out on.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, for the bigger picture, it sucks because there are a lot of games on Steam that still use third-party launchers, like um, Uplay and Origin and EA and all that stuff. And for me, like I haven't bought any of those games on PC specifically for those reasons. Because like even
Yeah.
if I want to play, Assassin's Creed on the Steam Deck, you got to go through this third-party launcher. It takes a lot to set up, and then they can just disable it for whatever reason. And now I can't play my game, or I don't have support to play the game anymore because they want to turn it off. And like for Steam, it feels especially weird because like it's already going through this store that I'm putting my money in Steam so I can play it on Steam, but I still have to have a separate account to access your game.
Mm-hmm.
And if you disable it, I no longer can play the game. Even though they're saying they're trying to avoid situations like that, it's just still annoying and like not consumer friendly for that reason. Um, and I feel like there should be workarounds. Like even if you turn off the servers, Steam has a backup or something. But I feel like they got to go through work to do that, and they're not going to do it. Yeah, at this point, I wish all games on Steam, even if they have like a separate launcher or third party, whatever, it has to function like completely through Steam, so you don't have to worry about them cutting off access.
Gotcha. So, I mean, that's great to hear because I didn't have an understanding of how that worked, and essentially, it's not the game that's being decommissioned. It's like the services that are used to connect to the game, and sometimes those games and the games that you buy, it says you need to, which is great because I always avoid them. You need a separate launcher to play this game. Most of the time, I'd be like, okay, I'm not playing it.
Yeah.
Well, and that's good to know because I don't have many of that in my library. I don't have any actually, unless they're free.
Hmm.
So
And like you
that's
said with the Assassin's Creed ones, I don't know what's being lost, but like if you think about it, some games are weird because like for example, Mass Effect Legendary Edition, when you start the game and Mass Effect 1 is already downloaded. In order to download the other two games, you have to like start the game and then select to download the game while it's already open.
mm-hmm,
And so that's going through like their online system, like verify whatever, and then start downloading. And if that game ever lost like server functionality, are you even going to be able to download the other games or not? Because they're provided as one package and the other ones are partly DLC. And so it just makes it weird with
mm-hmm.
some games that you're not even gonna be able to access them anymore. Same thing on console. Some games do that where you gotta launch it and then do it, but it's usually like Ubisoft, Activision, EA. They're usually the problem in the situation because they just stop supporting games for no reason.
Yeah. Well, I think that's at least, I mean, a little bit less impactful as I thought it would be, but it's definitely is still a concern, and it's definitely something to be on the radar or be on the lookout for because, yeah, it's just a weird times, I guess, especially when everything's going digitally. I enjoy buying digital games now. I don't like it for my pockets, but I enjoy it for the simplicity of it, and um, I also need to revisit Steam games because I very much so have still a lot to buy, and I need to take back what I said about Steam sales not having nothing because even if there isn't nothing for you, there's plenty for others. So I
Hmm.
did want to clear that up a little bit, but overall, I think I've bought a lot of games over time, and I think I'm zoning myself out of the market, and but I was able to find quite a bit of games that I really still wanted to play, and for a very decent price that normally had a larger mock-up, and I missed out on a few, but that's okay. But moving on to the next topic, I wanted to talk about Thor: Love and Thunder. They had a pretty big weekend box office. They had 143 million in North America and 159 million internationally, totaling up to 302 million over the weekend. That's a pretty decent number, especially when Thor Ragnarok only did 123. And so what I guess my take on Love and Thunder, because I've seen half of it. I'm not gonna go into that story, but I've seen half of the movie. I still enjoyed the half that I saw, and I don't want to kind of go over a review of it because I don't want to spoil it for anyone because it's still new. But what I will say is that the critics are being a little too harsh sometimes. Um, I guess we're in this era now where it's okay to poop on Marvel movies because everybody thinks they trash now. Even if Doctor Strange was good, people for some reason felt as if it was bad. But these numbers tell me otherwise. These numbers tell me people are going back to the movies. People are actually enjoying the movies. People are actually going to watch the movies, and this is something that they're doing. So if it's beating 2017 Thor Ragnarok, obviously the name recognition and the brand alone is carrying its weight. So I don't really see the problem, you know. But yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to say about Thor. But did you have anything, Josh or Jalen, about Thor numbers or your thoughts on movie theaters and people getting back to them?
Man, when you gonna see it, Jalen? I know you say you liked Thor before he got fat.
Man, I ain't. Y'all gonna be mad at me, but I ain't seen none of the Thor movies. Well, actually, no. I seen the one when they was fighting on that bridge, but I ain't finna see that one either. So,
No, no, it's fine because like Deontay said, a lot of people being harsh on it, but I still feel like these last two Thor movies are way better than the first two.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Just because I didn't care about Thor and about his serious story and stuff like that, so they just decided to be weird and quirky and like funny, and I enjoy that a lot more. At least I know I'm gonna get an interesting story because I haven't seen this before because it's gonna be weird. Um, and I liked Ragnarok a lot. Maybe my bad. I liked Love and Thunder a lot. Maybe Ragnarok is technically like a little bit better, but Love and Thunder had a lot of unique stuff in it that I enjoyed. I feel like you said a lot of critics and people are being harsh on it for different reasons. That might be inevitable because Marvel movies became like the most popular movies ever every year, and some people might just get tired of it, and that's fair. Like, maybe it's not for everybody, even though it became the most popular franchise technically.
Yeah.
But I think it was still really good. All the movies are, I can say, at least different. They all have a unique style, unique stuff going on, and so I don't feel like I've seen it before. And like me and you talked about before, Deontay, if you want like more, I guess, intricate storytelling as far as like superhero movies, there are a lot more options now. So you can
Yes.
go watch The Boys and stuff like that. And so even if Thor isn't for everybody, I feel like since there's more options, you can find what fits you. If you want a serious story, you go here. You want a silly story, you go here. You want a story you can watch with the family, you go here. So that's overall good. I don't see an issue with like Thor coming out and being popular, and some people mad about that.
God, yeah. No, and I just find it interesting. So I just kind of wanted to mention it because they're still doing well even through this time, and people are really getting out there. No more masks. And it's now getting back to normalcy when it comes to like the movie theaters. So I expect these movies to still do well throughout the week. Hopefully, they continue to do well. I don't. I guess what I'm trying to say is that I guess they're just enjoy yourselves. I don't know. I feel like they were criticizing like the weird stuff. So, I'm gonna leave it at that. enjoy them. If you guys were a fan of Ragnarok, you're gonna like this movie as well. If you weren't a fan of Ragnarok, then you're probably not gonna like this movie. But it's more of the same, but but it's also telling a different story and in a different way. So check it out. But the next thing that I wanted to talk about was PlayStation and Mark Cerny. He's out there buying up Haven Studios, and I guess they're investing heavily in R&D and live service games. I don't know what they do. I know that they are a company that was very heavy in cloud gaming, but they already partner with Microsoft to kind of run their cloud stuff. So I guess this is their way of, I don't know. What did you do anybody else here know what these people do and why it's a big deal?
No, I personally I don't know anything about Haven. I tried to look them up real quick and I didn't see anything of note. I I think at this point, obviously both Microsoft and Sony are making strategic investments. I think Sony is more on the infrastructure side, like they're building, they're thinking long term and building like what they feel like they need to support their games. So whatever they're doing, whether this is going to support like their cloud gaming service like PlayStation Now, or if this is specifically going to be integrated into their games that they're making, uh, I think they just wanted to have like fully in-house access to it because I feel like Sony has a good track record with all their studios, and I think that being self-sufficient is a part of that. So whatever happens, I think it'll be good. I don't think Sony has many online games.
They bought Bungie, so I'm assuming they're going crazy over there. They're trying to get Haven Studios to
Yeah.
back Bungie in some form or fashion, and they're talking about their plan to launch more than 10 live service games by 2026. That ain't far from here. So,
Yeah.
maybe this is to bolster Bungie's new IP. Maybe it's to create more.
It's to bring back Killzone.
Yeah, something like that. I think they're gonna have a few different hitters that could cause them to make this make more sense and why it aligns. They're basically they're putting the time in, the money in, and I don't know Haven's track record. So I mean, I don't think Sony ever makes the wrong move in a lot of ways when it comes to studios. So we'll see. But yeah, they bought Haven Studios and they're happy about it. So we'll see what they do with it.
Maybe they'll finally come out the Last of Us 2 multiplayer.
The real question is y'all playing Bungie next game?
I mean, I'm not going to cap. I'll say yes because like it's Bungie, and I feel like whatever they make is going to be really good at something. I'm hoping that it's supposed to be single player, right? Or is it just multiplayer?
I suppose I don't know. I don't know nothing about it, to be honest.
Because like if it's multiplayer, hopefully it can keep me engaged for long term. If not, I'll at least check it out because they're a really good studio, one of the best in like the FPS genre. So,
what you thinking, Jalen? You gonna play in Bungie next game?
I mean, it's Bungie, so I probably look into it unless I see something that attracts me. But I mean, I feel like I'll probably play it because I feel like they probably gonna have all this marketing, and you ain't gonna have no choice but to play it.
They gonna eat you up with their marketing? Oh man!
Let me just try this game real quick, man. They keep bugging me about playing it.
They might have one of their super soldiers right in your midst right now. Mr. Deontay, Mr. BCD Universe.
Nah.
He might be a super soldier ready to be unleashed. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna play it, obviously. Uh, but the next thing I wanted to talk about was Halo Infinite, the co-op. Uh, the I mean, is this a little too late or is this right on time? I ain't play it because I was like, I'm not gonna play this alone, and I might beat it with you, Josh, if we got time to like sit down and actually play it. But I just did not find it interesting enough to kind of go through it on my own. Um, but I did want to see where they took the story. Is the co-op too a little too late, or is it right on time? What you think, Josh?
Um, I don't know because I feel like people like the first thing you're gonna do with these type of games is play the story, and
Mm-hmm.
Infinite has just been too slow with all of their content.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know what took so. I mean, obviously it's hard work, but I don't know what took them so long for this specifically. I would say it's too late for most people because they already played through the story.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's fun, it's fun, and it's just overall make the package more attractive long term. But this should have been available at launch because like this is what you are offering at launch, which is the story, and people expect co-op in Halo because it's always been available.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'll play through it again. I don't mind. Like I enjoy playing it. I haven't looked at all of the updates about the co-op, but I don't know. I feel like if they can just make the co-op fun and make going through the story fun with more than one person, it'd be good. But
Do you think they need to add different elements at the launch of the co-op to make it more interesting to return?
yeah, I saw some stuff about them updating some rewards or something.
Mm-hmm.
I had to look into it, but yeah, I did everything in the story uh except for like tiny few things like kill 1,000 people or something like that. But like I did everything in the story, so I have a reason to go back. And if co-op offers something new for me to go back, I'll jump into it. But
Catch.
uh you'll see.
All right. Well, yeah. I think I don't know why that wasn't like a first thought because I don't. It seems like Halo doesn't understand its core elements in some aspects. It's like no, the multiplayer wasn't the reason why people were having so much fun. It was like just like a transitional phase. Like people played the campaign together, enjoyed playing the campaign together, and they transitioned into multiplayer, and they kind of enjoyed that too. Halo Infinite, it doesn't feel like a complete package for most because they do is entertain the multiplayer, where they don't play that Infinite side because it's simply um like even if I was able to play that with you day one, I'd probably be more interested in finishing it. You know what I'm saying? Like right now,
Mhm.
I just don't have an incentive to play it, so it kind of makes it feel as if it's like it didn't exist to me, and it kind of makes the game feel less of a package, full fledged package than what it should have. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's the lack of just not knowing or wanting to play a Halo Infinite campaign anymore. But I always thought they had big moments. When you kind of told me about the lack of big moments, I kind of felt like, well, that's a slight. I think these big, huge situations that occur should be fun. Fighting the bosses seems to be interesting, so that'd be interesting to kind of get to and kind of have that fun with that. But the in and out of an open world game is just so off my radar at this point that it makes it not make me not want to engage it. But obviously, Halo Infinite uh, decided to go that route, so we want to see truly what they do with this route. I mean, if you're gonna make an open world game, it's time to incorporate new things, bring new elements in, and really flesh it out. So um, I
Yeah, and
understand,
with it not being multiplayer at launch, I think that hurt the open world because like that's kind of the
hmm
benefit of playing like Far Cry and stuff like that. Like you can play it alone, or if you want, you can play with other people, and that makes
Yeah,
it more fun.
yeah, Yeah, even if you're going around doing task rapid stuff, you're talking, you're having engaging conversations versus just sitting around there doing it on your own. Even if it is, boring tasks, those tasks can turn into fun simply because you're having to. And if you have a really good balance of like difficulty and like spiking the difficulty and stuff, that could be an engaging time. So, it's just planning that stuff out really it could have helped. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got on Halo. I don't know if I think hopefully that's enough to get me back in, but we'll see. Jalen, you got anything on Halo? Well, outside of
Uh,
the complaints, or anything on the co-op. I know you got some stuff on Halo, but on the
uh,
co-op in particular.
nah, I was just correct me if I'm wrong. The multiplayer came out, then they released the campaign, right?
No, the campaign came out.
Well, the beta for the multiplayer was a couple
Yeah,
weeks before the campaign, and then the game officially launched when the campaign came out.
yeah, because the multiplayer was accessible and you can like carry over your stuff. So that's why I'm thinking of it that way. Multiplayer came out, they was able to do that, and then you carried over, and then the campaign launched on that day, where you can jump into it, and then when you jumped into the campaign, you were met with the open world and everything.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. As far as the co-op, I feel like it's kind of late. I mean, we talking about like more than the game came out in November, right?
Yes, so
Yeah,
last
more
year.
than 6 months.
It'd be different if they want to keep the game alive and stuff like that, and they release other things. I think y'all been saying they have these sorts of events and stuff going on, but I think bringing out the co-op campaign, like unless you guys say like it got better like selling points and stuff like that, like you can play the game in this mode or this. I ain't touched the campaign, so I can't speak on it too much. But unless it
Mm.
has something different, some sort of like variation and stuff, or selling points like rewards for playing co-op, then I feel like it didn't make sense for them to release it at a different time. I mean, a lot of people play Halo in co-op. Like, I mean, that's what I remember doing when I was younger and stuff like that. Or even the last full Halo game I played was like Halo 4 and stuff like that. Like, co-op campaign was cool. Like, it's fun. Like, all right, let's go play that. But the fact that they released that so late and didn't have access to it, it's just kind of like, I mean,
Defeats the purpose.
it defeats the purpose. I mean, because like I don't really know people, or at least my crowd. I ain't never know people to be like, yeah, I'm finna go play Halo campaign by myself or something like that. Usually, people want to play it with friends and stuff. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
it was always better. And then they made it like you get different characters and stuff too. It wasn't like you just walk around with the same character or something like that. Like in Reach, you had your customized character. You can go show your boys like, look what I got. Like this me. And and it felt some sort of like unity because like you had that same character in multiplayer and you had him in the campaign and stuff like that. And then like Halo 3, you play with like Thou Beta, like the Arbiter.
The Arbiter and his boys.
My bad, I had put my earphone out. But you play with like different characters and stuff like that. So like it made it feel like a more full experience and stuff like that. At least playing with one other person versus, but I don't know. That's just my take on it. They should have did that a little bit sooner. I thought that was a little weird when y'all said that. Because I think I asked y'all about like I remember y'all saying something about the campaign before, and I'm like, well, I ain't never on the game. They probably ran through that campaign or was like looking to play it. I remember y'all mentioned something about playing Halo, and then I remember asking y'all, it was like, nah, the co-op ain't here yet. Like they ain't released, and I just thought that was stupid. But I mean, I guess to each his own.
Yeah. And somebody made it in the comments, made a pretty good thing. It says, I think Halo would have got a worse reception if Call of Duty Vanguard in 2042 wasn't such a bust. Like, do you think they won? They won by default, or did they think they had some good elements, key elements in there that kind of helped, you know, pull them up, or was it like, yeah, your competition sucked, so you win by default?
I
I guess.
mean, yeah, they kind of did win by default, but I feel like it was a really good like multiplayer release. It had a good launch, like it
Mm-hmm.
worked. It was fun and things like that. Even though content was limited, like the launch period was good. It's just that because their other competition didn't really show up, they didn't have to like do anything else for the next 6 months, and like now it's starting to show, like, oh well, if your competition actually was showing up, they would have outshined you over time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's interesting to see because of like they don't even have a big competition right now. Like they're gonna get it's gonna get crazy when Call of Duty 2 come out, and they ain't got no answer for that. That's why they bought them, I suppose. That makes sense. I buy the competition, as in Microsoft bought Activision. But interesting to see. But okay, let's move on to the next topic. Last of Us. Part 1 remake. Is it or is it not a cash grab? They're doing a lot. Wait. Let me introduce it to the people first. They are doing a lot to the game. They're basically taking a lot of the they're taking all of the technology, and they're kind of pulling it up to the Last of Us Part 2 standards. They're making Joel look similar to The Last of Us Part 2. They're update the eyeballs. We saw the eyeballs. The eyeballs were updated, and yeah. It's $70 for a game that's been re-released more than once. What do you got? A cash grab or no?
Man, that game tired, bro. That whole series tired. Like they just.
Oh my god!
Like, let me just say this, bro. I know you asked a simple yes or no question, or cash grab yes or no, but the fact that The Last of Us 1 came out, ended like summer 2012 or something like that, and we had summer 2022, and it's been 10 years, and I felt like I haven't got a break from The Last of Us. Is like that's problematic for me. So I'm gonna just say it's a cash grab. Like I don't care what y'all doing to that game. Y'all release this game several times. Y'all get all this, like, bro. Just let that game. Like, let me miss the game, bro. I can't even miss the game.
Yeah, man. You can't.
Like it ain't even on nostalgia, bro. Like, you get that nostalgia, but man, I do kind of, man, I feel like I ain't got away from that game, bro. I feel like I'm running from that game. I'm running, the Mario stairs. We ain't got enough stars on Mario 64. That's what I feel like. The music playing and everything, all that. I'm like, bro, I can't get away from this game. But yeah, I digress.
Yeah, but like you said, for me personally,
did they go back and do motion cap anything? No, did they not? They do anything like that?
I think it's a cash grab. One, like Jen said, it is like oversaturation. It's the third time it's coming out in about like 10, 12 years. And in Last of Us 2, like they bring you back to moments in the first game, and it's like, now you want me to buy it again for $70 to see those moments again. But the main thing is that there's less like content than it was originally released, and you're charging more money. So they updating the character models, but they're not including the multiplayer or any other content from that. And like I know that people liked it and they enjoyed that portion of the game. Okay, you don't want to include the multiplayer because there's multiplayer in Last of Us 2, right? No, it's not out. Like, haven't they delayed the multiplayer in 2 for like over 2 years now?
Yes. They haven't made us inkling about Last of Us Part 2's multiplayer. Like they haven't talked about it. Like it's very bad right now for that.
That's because they gonna drag it out, bro. Like they trying to have that jump be like, hey, little dog. I'm like, bro, leave it alone. Like it's not that deep.
So like I don't see why anybody
live
would
service games. You're right. They might do it on its own.
Because they're asking for more money. If you already played it, there's nothing new. If you haven't played it, you're still not getting your money's worth for an old game. Like you're getting a worse package than you did if you bought it 10 years ago. So it's like I don't really see the point. I think it's fine for them to upgrade the graphics. Like, I don't personally think it needed it, but they're talented. They can make the game look good, and the game will look good. But like, that's not enough, and I, I don't think it's worth it. Like $40 most.
Bro, they could have did so much stuff. Like use a resources to like whether it's making us another game, doing something. When is the Naughty Dog made that game? What is the last title that they dropped that wasn't Last of Us related?
They just dropped the last was the remake for Uncharted. The bundle, the collection.
I mean, I ain't gonna get started on that. I liked it Uncharted a little bit more just because it was like.
Well, if you had the base game already, you got it for free. You got the upgrades.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't as if you had to pay for them, and you didn't even have to have both games. You just had to have one. So that was such a win for them. And then to come follow up with this crap, it's like, what? Why would you?
Yeah,
why would you give it away for people that had it on the PS4 for free, just an upgrade, to get the upgrades, and then you go back and do the same thing for The Last of Us? Maybe charge $10, but you're charging $74. Like, bro, are you insane? Are you Captain Insano right now? But that's what they wanted to do. So,
and it's like man, I don't even know where to start, bro. Like it's just. I would just rather Naughty Dog, like people like Naughty Dog, boom, boom. They cold, bro. Like you know what I'm saying? Like you hear about Naughty Dog, like they doing numbers, but y'all keep making Last of Us. Y'all ain't made no new type game. I mean, y'all made Last of Us 2 or whatever. I mean, all right, but I mean, I just felt like they could divide and conquer and do something a little bit better, or like have some other stuff in the works. I'm not saying that they don't, but the fact that Last of Us keep coming out and like you said, y'all charge us $70 to give us a game that y'all already got. It got less content in it, but y'all just so hell bent on selling The Last of Us because it's that great of a game. That game is not that great to keep being remade. Like it shouldn't be 10 years, and I feel like I haven't gotten away from The Last of Us. Like it just, I don't know, man. I don't know. It don't make sense, man. Y'all really pushing it. Like somebody told y'all this game is good, and they heads got big. And like, what we doing today, dog? For every day for the past 10 years, man. We doing more Last of Us, bro. People love it. We doing that. Like what? I'm just like, bro. I don't know, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I think they're talented and they make good games. Like you said, I personally would like to see them do something different than keep re-releasing The Last of Us and Uncharted. They claim, like the studio claims, like this is their first PS5 game and this is their training for their next, PS5 exclusive game. I'm like, all right, that's cool, but it didn't have to be The Last of Us. Or if it was The Last of Us, like make something new for The Last of Us and not just remake the old game.
Man, so they training by remaking a game that's a safe bet. Man, I ain't trying to hear that. It's a whole safe bet, bro. Like, I don't know. And the thing that irked me, I mean, this is going a little bit on a tangent, but like when I was talking about like the third person shooter games and stuff like that, like, The Last of Us had way too much human enemies and stuff like that. And I'm like, bro, I didn't play this game to go play Uncharted. Like, I can play Uncharted if I want to play Uncharted for a cheaper price. And I like Drake better as Nathan Drake as a character better. Not saying that he's a definitively better character. It's just a lighter mood and stuff like that. So, but yeah. Anyway, cash grab.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I think it's a cash grab. I try to pretend to be a devil's advocate, but it's nothing in here that kind of shows that this is worth the time. And yeah, it's just not worth $70. It's the old game. Everybody's played it. I can understand 40, but $70 for a game that's missing content, it just doesn't make sense. So, cash grab. That is our final answer. But the next thing I want to talk about was God of War, keeping up on the Sony stuff. God of War got a release date out of nowhere. They might have got bullied into it, but I don't know. But it got a release date. It was, and I'm trying to find the release date now. I think it's November 9th. Yes, November 9th for PS4 and PS5. This game is also supposed to be under that umbrella of games that are supposed to be upgradable for free. So if you buy it on the PS4, that's $60. You can upgrade it to the PS5 version for free as soon as the clock strikes the 9th, so 12. You should be able to upgrade it to the PS5 version for free. I did the same thing with Horizon, and I'm probably going to do the same thing for this. And you can still buy it digitally, so you don't even have to buy it physically if you don't want to leave the house. So I'm going to do that. I did that for Horizon. I'm going to do it for God of War. But yeah. It's got a release date. Ooh, it's gonna be game of the year, I'm pretty sure. But it might not be y'all game of the year. But I'm pretty sure majority of folks, this is gonna be game of the year. I just want to talk about how they was able to recreate God of War into another top tier game. It wasn't like that. Obviously, there was better arcade games that had like better combat than God of War. God of War was just an angry man, and obviously it was a lot of more gory and bloody, but it nowhere near shape or form was like the upper echelon of those types of games. Like I would hold Devil May Cry in higher regard than God of War in that time. And then all of a sudden, they made a change. They adopted the Uncharted. It's not that they adopted it. They actually did something unique. They did the one camera. It doesn't break. I'm looking forward to seeing that again because I like that movie aspect of it. It makes it feel like it's a real journey. And I'm interested in seeing how it goes. But I just want to give them a little praise because they definitely made nothing out of something. They made something out of nothing. That's what they did, for real. But what y'all thinking? November 8th. We picking up? I mean, obviously I am, but y'all picking up? Y'all playing? I don't even think I don't think y'all played the first one. Josh going through it. Jalen, you didn't play the first one, right?
Man, I ain't played a God of War game ever.
Not one?
Not one.
Hey man, you don't know what you missing out on. Y'all hear this, man? Hey, but he played Watch Dogs first. That's crazy. But
I was always under the impression God of War was just having all that gore and all that type of stuff in it, so I just never played it.
I mean, yeah, but not this one. This one's a little bit more tame, definitely.
Yeah, it's less gory than like The Last of Us.
Yeah, this is a more of the story about a kid and a son. A son and a dad. I said a kid and a son, but a son and a dad's journey. I don't find this to be any way, shape, or form like the old ones. It can get that way, but more than likely, it's more so than not. It's meant to kind of tell a journey versus anything. So they don't call for that no more. It don't need to be hyper violent to really get people to interested, because the story is holding its own. So but the old ones, yes, it was arcade. It was, the story didn't matter, nobody really cared about them, Kratos, that much. He was just a real tough guy and everybody liked him because of that. But this is totally different. This is like telling a story, more of Uncharted style, and more along those lines of, building camaraderie and going through a tough time with a family member.
It's The Last of Us.
It is.
But
that's why I said it got the Naughty Dog treatment, because they said we need somebody that can tell a good story, and we got the we got the chops to make a game seem appealing in gameplay, or at least it's like they said because the combat isn't the greatest. The combat in the game isn't the greatest, in my opinion. It has a unique style of play, where where it's that third person order type feel, but it's not a groundbreaking gameplay. The only thing that's groundbreaking is the axe, in my opinion, because of the sound effects, the ability to use it in different puzzles. But that's it. It's not like it's some type of unique thing. The unique part comes from the story, the animation, the fights, like the actual big moments in the game, because there is a lot of big moments, and you're like, man, how the heck did they pull this off without loading or whatever? It's like the technology drove it, but they just had to have a good story to try to drive the boat, and that's what they find through the Naughty Dog sweatshop. So I won't call it sweatshop, but that Naughty
Yeah,
Dog, they be pumping and grinding, yo.
because I'm playing through it right now. I waited for a while just because personally I feel like I wanted to give a distance to a lot of Sony games to go into unfair because a lot of people like will swear up and down these are the best games ever made. And I think
Mm-hmm.
they're really good. And like you said, on the technical level, they are some of the best games ever made. Like it is impressive, like seeing back to back Horizon in this and their PS4 games. And now we're in a completely different generation, but these games still look a lot better than anything that's come out since then. Um,
Yes.
I think with this game, with God of War, they did a good job of modernizing God of War because it was always fun. It was always a lot of action. You got like good boss fights and a lot of abilities and stuff like that. But it didn't have like a deeper story other than, I'm just going to kill a bunch of tough enemies. And so they took elements from Uncharted. They took some elements kind of like from Dark Souls, like make the combat more slow paced and stuff like that, to make it more thoughtful instead of being like arcadey where you can just spam buttons and stuff. And then with this story and good acting on top of that, it makes it feel like a full, complete package. So we have good gameplay that you expect from action games, and we also have like a interesting story. Um, so when I started playing it, like I was surprised that like I knew it was going for the Uncharted and Last of Us portion, like the story stuff, and I kind of thought that maybe it would be like how to put it, like boring gameplay, but an interesting story. But the combat is still it's not as fast as the old games, but it's still doing like um similar stuff. And like when you get to the first boss fight, it turned into a Dragon Ball Z fight, and
Oh
y'all
yeah, bro. That
punching
the
people through
stranger fight
mountains and
is
stuff
so
like that.
iconic. So
And
iconic.
like, oh yeah, and like, oh, so they kept the interesting like crazy fights from the old games, but they're adding like a personal story to it. So that is the best of both worlds in a sense. I haven't finished it, but so far it's really good. Like I said, I don't think the combat is like the greatest, like especially like playing it right after Sekiro. Like you can see like the gap between
Hmm.
like all the things you can do, but it's more so far more interesting than like what I got from like the first Last of Us. Like it was okay, but at the end of the day, it was still just third person shooting against like a couple zombies and like people with AK-47. But this it has an upgrade tree and all type of stuff that it's doing to equip different things and try out different buffs and stuff like that. Um,
Yeah.
so all that to be said, the people are looking forward to the next game. I think it is going to be a hit. Definitely, people are going to love it. If they can just take this template and improve upon it, it will be like a beloved game.
Yeah. Game of the year contender. That's all it is. That's and like I said, I congratulate them for being able to have a vision and execute. Like that is difficult in its own right, and having a big budget and like this, and creating something unique and expansive as this is, they have the ability to take their time, make it right. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think I think it's one of those games that you shouldn't miss out on. But if you do, it's okay. I ain't gonna beat you over the head about it because y'all definitely couldn't do it for Kingdom Hearts. I tried it. It sucks still. So I mean, I get it. Sometimes
I
it's just
mean, I
not
ain't
your cup
saying
of tea.
War is better than Kingdom Hearts 2. Kingdom Hearts 2 combat is go crazy, but
Well, yeah, I'm not saying that your opinion should change
I'm
on that. I'm
uh,
saying my opinion ain't changing based off of recommendation as well. So sometimes it just doesn't work out. That's all I'm saying. It's not
yeah.
that that game was bad or one was better than the other. Absolutely not
No,
saying that.
and like you said, since we friends, we talk about stuff a lot, and you tend to like push your friends towards stuff. But like
Hmm.
for me, right away with all the Sony games, I feel funny about them because when they come out, it's always just like people fighting and like arguing over these games, and I don't know if I can go into the game unbiased, and so that's why I felt like I needed to give some distance to Horizon
Yeah,
and stuff like that, so I can have my own opinion without thinking about what everybody else said.
absolutely. That makes a lot of sense too. Um, so yeah, but got a date. That's the most exciting part. November 8th, around my birthday. I'm going to be turning up. No, November 9th. So I might take that. I told them I was going to take off most of the winter. So I might take off November instead of December. But I think I might take off. Well, not the winter, but those end of the year months. Because the winter ain't nothing but January, February now. Because the world is weird. You don't get no snow until January for real, and then that joint be gone by halfway through February. Um, but yeah, looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. Anything you got on there on God of War? I know you said you ain't gonna play it, but anything you got to say, Jalen, before we move on?
Nah, I don't got nothing for God of War.
Alrighty. All right, Forspoken, another game that got So this is a byproduct of God of War being announced. They delayed the crap out of Forspoken. This happened the same day.
Yeah.
I did not know that. It happened the same exact day. Square Enix said, "No, no, 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 no. We're gonna do a quick update here, people. Forspoken needs some more polish. We're gonna, we're gonna push that out to January." They obviously did not want to battle with the with 10,000 gods, so they took off, and now they're coming out January 24th, which is smart. I honestly don't think the game is going to be better because of the delay. I think it's just probably more so strategic than anything. Um, uh, but hopefully we see some better polish, maybe. The only thing I was worried about was that it was going to run like, it's going to have a lot of frame pacing issues, a lot of frame skips, stuff like that. Um, if they can fix that, yeah, they made a strategic decision. All game not complete in development is in the filing polishing phase. Yeah, I'll read the whole thing too. As a result of ongoing discussions with key partners, aka Sony, big dogs at Santa Monica, we have made the strategic decision to move the launch date of Forspoken to January 24th of 2023. All game elements are now complete and development is in its final polishing phase. Game was ready to come out. We would like to thank you for your continued support and patience on this journey. Your excitement for the game inspires us every day, and we cannot wait to share more about Forspoken with you in later this summer. Yeah, this was simply let me get out the way type of situation. This was Beyonce dropping and Drake throwing out honestly never mind before it happened. That is what this is. It was basically I'm scared. Let me just move because I'm not finna waste my money on and not getting anything. This is what they should have did with Titanfall 2, but they didn't.
Yeah.
But yeah. Any thoughts on Forspoken? Have anybody seen gameplay of it? Interested? I know I'm interested a little bit, and but more and more I see it, the more and more I'm like it's skippable. But any thoughts on Forspoken, Jalen or Josh?
Nah, I ain't got nothing.
What about you, Josh?
Yeah, we talked about it before. It looks okay. I have like a lot of questions about it and a lot of worries, but it's coming out at a good time is going to be its best chance at success. Because like if it comes out anywhere near God of War, it's gonna be bad for them and fail. People need to give it a chance. It's a new IP, and like it might have some concerns with the game. So I think that now that it's delayed until hopefully a slower time of the year next year, I'm much more likely to give it a chance. Whereas like the end of the year can kind of get busy, so it might have got skipped.
Mm. Yeah, I think I don't want to say it's skip yet, so I'm gonna just be quiet. But hopefully it makes it the more stuff they show off, it becomes to feel a little bit better than what it is now. It feels pretty generic, and they just wanted to show off their engine kind of deal. But we'll see. The next thing that I wanted to talk about was that Dragon Ball Z fan film. There was a fan film that came out by a guy by the name of, now I'm blanking on his name, but the studio was Stray Dog Studios. Nas Pasha, is that his name? Nas Pasha, yeah, Nas Pasha. Um, he basically did this a lot of it on his own. Obviously, the animation and the animation, the drawings, the creating the storyline, all of that was him. He obviously had help from some voice actors, but yeah, I watched it and I really thought it was really cool. Definitely the portion where obviously he took some liberties a lot in a lot of different Dragon Ball Z stuff, but for the most part, I liked the animation and how they were actually engaging in combat, and I thought he did a little bit. I think he did a good job with the Vegeta animation and creating like a actual sense of a storyline when he first like had Vegeta leave his planet, and they were kind of talking about it, and I didn't understand where he was going with that. I didn't honestly. I was like, "What is okay? So is Vegeta finna come help, or he finna come fight?" I thought Vegeta was the one boxing with him with the cape on or whatever. But before I go into all the spoilers or whatever or storyline, what was you guys' first impressions of the Legend of Dragon Ball Tale by Nas Pasha?
Go ahead,
Man,
Mr. Dragon Ball Z.
that mug was tight, dude. I was just like, I love Dragon Ball Z, obviously. But
He still plays Xenoverse.
hey, you seen Xenoverse 3? Not just one.
They
But anywho,
they still got content for that game coming
I
out.
know. That's a whole nother discussion. But I thought it was sweet. Like when I had looked at it, and I like how he did. Like he didn't call it like Dragon Ball Z. He called it like something else. Because he took the story from what was happening in the show, and then he just like diverted and went to like a different route. Obviously everybody loved Broly, so I thought it was cool that he put him in there. But I just liked it, the spin and stuff. Like you said, Vegeta came in, and I just thought all that was tight. Like even like some of the like the transformation stuff, how Vegeta is using the little like energy like key sword thingy, and even Vegeta looking stuff like that. I'm like the little transformations, like he had the Super Saiyan there, but it wasn't like the ordinary Super Saiyan that we like used to and stuff like that. So he put his own little spin on it, and then when I seen, obviously it's gonna be a little bit of spoiler when he go into like when Goku transformed, he tied him more to like what he based off like Sun Wukong. So I thought all that was like pretty interesting and stuff like that, and I thought all the animation and stuff was clean. I'm like, hey, they need to hire him, but obviously it took him years to make that 7-minute video, but it was tight, man. I really enjoyed it. I like to see more people do stuff like that because it didn't feel like a rehash of animation of like what you know what I'm saying. They take a scene and they reanimate it. You know what I'm saying? They ain't do that. He did something completely different, like the storyboard and all that type of stuff. And I was talking to my friend about it today. He was like, "Man, I'm finna support that dude and send him some bread just because, like, he did his thing with that, and it's like a real tribute for like the Toriyama and everybody else in the DBZ community. And they need to hire that dude, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? But
No, he did
so
his thing, bro. And I think he said it was like took him 4 years or something like that to like really kind of create that amount. And I was just like, man, it just shows you how much they really be pushing people, and that's why they be doing those stretchy animations. They be
yeah.
pushing people to kind of create this stuff, and yeah, it was pretty dope. What's your thoughts, Josh? Did you take a look at it? I think it was a little bit different for you.
No, I watched it. I was saying I didn't finish all of it, but I did see like once Vegeta got there and a little bit of with Goku. Overall, my impression was pretty much the same. I thought that it was really good for like a fan film because like when you first see it and see how good it is, you think like it's a trailer for something like official with just like the quality.
Mm-hmm.
I like it, and I can definitely understand like how somebody who loves Dragon Ball Z can like put the time into that because it reminds me of Dragon Ball Z. Like obviously that it takes place during Dragon Ball Z time, but it reminds me of Dragon Ball Z's like style,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of people miss that style because Super and everything else since then is different with like the animation, how the fights are animated and stuff like that. It's a different style. It's a different time now. People kind of expect different things. But the older Dragon Ball Z style, where it looks like the animation is very erratic, or like you see a lot of black lines and things like that. That helps put the intensity into the fight and like the characters' emotions and things like that. So I think he mastered that, and it wasn't an exact copy of Toriyama's style either. And if you know, we may never see anything like that from official Dragon Ball Z. But when we have like talented people like this with the eye from it, you wish that they are able to, get a small project to work on officially and see what they can do. Um, what's the what's the dude that did Sonic Mania, Jalen? Forget his name, but he started the guy that directed Sonic Mania started as like a Sonic fan. He worked on like Sonic mods and stuff like that, and his stuff was just so good that Sega got in contact with him, and he made arguably the best Sonic game ever made. So, um, hopefully, this guy has some opportunities lined up in the future.
Yeah, that'd be smooth. Be that.
Yeah, I thought it was definitely a pretty well polished fan film. So I had talked to him, man. I think having some dedication behind anything is awesome and amazing. But to kind of see your project being held up there in high regard as much as it is right now, and the support. That whole 9,000 part, and that mug was like bouncing back and forth. That mug, that mug cracked. I was like, yeah, he going crazy. So, it's just a whole bunch of stuff like that. It's just cool to see, and hopefully he kind of makes something out of it. I think he can, especially with the amount of support that it's seen. It's staggering. So yeah, I think right now it's at like 3 million, 3.6 million, and it came out July 6th. So that mug is up there, and I think people are really noticing. So that's so cool to see when your like life work or your time and effort is like paying off. You getting something back from it. But that's pretty much it for that portion. I want to talk about Bandai Namco, which is just some real cool community stuff. If you ever heard of the tale of Let Me Solo Her, it basically is the guy that's been running around killing Melania for all of the the ones that can't really get all the way good. He helps them. So he, I think, fought her over 1,000 times, if I'm not mistaken, Josh. And they essentially sent him out a one of the special editions. I don't want to say it's because what he has had in it, obviously, it was congratulations, and it actually showed his name, let me solo her, and it was telling him, great accomplishment and how many things you killed, and they actually have an image of what he usually wears. It's basically naked with a jar head, and it sent them over the sword and like the special edition. I think it's just really cool I think it said 11 out of 40. So I know it's not that many of them that was made. I just don't know if it was like something that people could actually buy or if it was meant to be only for, developers and stuff like that. But whatever the case may be, this thing was sent out to him as a gift, and it just shows that they're kind of tapped into their community. Even if you don't think they are, they kind of are. I don't believe this individual was, looking for anything or anything like that. He was just kind of trying to do it. He became infamous for just being someone that could really kill Millennia really easily. And she's like one of the hardest bosses in the game. So it's cool to see that they're tapped in. What's your guys' thoughts on it? And did you kind of, I guess, what's your thoughts on it? Because I don't want to go too deep.
I think it's pretty cool. Because like you said, he was just in the game, got really good at fighting her, and helps out people in the community to just go into the fight together. And he'll help you beat her because she is one of the hardest bosses. And I think for a lot of people, she's, some players might not actually be able to beat her.
Yeah.
Ever. And so this helps out a lot. And he just had made his fame off that. Like you said, I don't think he was expecting anything, but they congratulated him. And that's good because I think a lot of the Souls community doesn't get recognition because like they be putting together guides and walkthroughs and like the whole wiki and stuff like that. And like the community has like brought these games to popularity, I would say. More than the games themselves. So
they did the work that From Software never would do. Like they would never explain everything like they did. So this is the community's work, and to see someone from the community be rewarded in that way is very nice, and not with just a code to early access, in a really genuine and thought out way, So that's really cool. I would like to see this with other companies as well, because I know the community sometimes drives these companies to success. There's plenty of times where I've seen a game not really get much recognition, and then all of a sudden it's getting recognized everywhere because someone decided to play it, something that have similar to Among Us. I would love to have seen them give back to the streamers that was, doing the work to kind of make their game popular. Because simply enough, the game was fun on its own, but really what made it unique was the streams and the engagement of how the game was played by different communities. So I always advocate for that. You can't sell a product without a salesman, and sometimes these streamers and these communities are the salesmen. Sometimes you have large individuals or even people, friends that are advocating for certain games. So it's really cool to see when the community engages in that way. Any thoughts around this, Jalen, before we move on? Jay Beazle.
My bad, I was muted. I was saying I think all that stuff is cool, and I didn't really have so much to say about him like fighting like Millennia and all that type of stuff because I didn't play the game, or I didn't get to her stuff. But I just thought it was interesting that you said that. This is going a little bit on a tangent that you need these people to like promote your stuff or whatever. And I think social media is showing us a lot of that too. Like a lot of places getting away from like ads and stuff or like clothing and stuff. Instead, they just think it's cheaper to take a picture, put it on Instagram or whatever instead of putting like a sponsor ad and like doing like a TV thing or whatever.
Yeah.
So, and that's just further pushing that point that, they're like, you'll get 15% off this code if you use such and such code because this person is taking pictures with it. We'll get him some of that bread, like break him off some of that bread, and then we get him publicity. We get him like
brand
salesmen, all that.
ambassadors.
Yeah, brand ambassadors, all that type of stuff. A macro influencer because we know Deontay, we know BCD Universe. He's selling his stuff and he's giving all these things, and he got this much people following him. So I just thought like when you had said that was a little bit more interesting, and I totally agree that the streamers and stuff should. I mean, they pushing these games and some of this media and stuff for these people, so it's like, I mean, you got to do something like to support them and stuff. So I think it's cool that FromSoft did what they did for the old boy because
Yeah, it just shows that
that's integral.
Yeah, it shows that they're in some way, in shape or form, intertwined with the community. So it always great PR. It's great that even if he didn't show it and he just said I got something from them, that's cool too. But it's just a way for them to kind of really showcase that they care about that type of stuff. So yeah, great business move. Even if they don't care, it's great because it kind of showcases. It at least puts on a perception of that. I don't want to always be the Debbie Downer, but I mean they could be pretending, but who cares? They still did it. But next topic I want to talk about was Fall Guys, and this is another game that kind of really died on the streams, but streamers. But Fall Guys has reached 50 million players since going free to play. It's going back to its popularity. Do you think is it because 50 million players is a lot? That's a lot of players, regardless of what we think. Do you think it's going to get back to where the craze it was, where everybody was talking about it, or do you think it's now free to play? People want to play it, but it's never going to get to that level. That remember, like when it first came out, it was such a buzz. It was like this huge buzz around it, where everyone wanted to play it and try it out in some way, and then they had friends that said, "Hey, try this game out and see if we have fun in it." Now that it's free to play and you can play, I think it's cross platform now, if I'm not mistaken. What do you think? Do you think this is gonna make a comeback for this game, or at least it's gonna have its market now? I don't know if it'll ever get as big as a Fortnite, but it could have. I think that was the missed opportunity. It could have, just like Among Us, it could have, but they didn't do the right things. They didn't do the right They didn't have the Epic Games backing, because Fortnite could have been Fortnite and it could have fell off, but it didn't. And there was certain particular things that happened to make it not fall off. It's reached 50 million players. It's free to play. What are we thinking?
No, I mean, I say no. It's not ever gonna be the number one game on Twitch, stuff like that again. But I think it's so successful now, it doesn't need to, because how to put it, like the number one games have to do a lot to stay in that spot, and those Among Us and Fall Guys are from small studios. They didn't have like big backing and things like that, and so it's kind of they were never able to gonna stay on top, and that's fair. But they've become so popular, more popular than they ever thought they would be. It's good, and at this point, as long as they can keep their lobbies filled, it doesn't matter, because people are going to keep showing up, and it kind of can become one of those, I don't know what they're called, but it's like one of those, it's not a party game, but it's like it's just one of those games that exists and you just show up for it because of what it does, like Monopoly. Like it's, that's a family game. Monopoly doesn't have to do anything special. It's just always going to be in your library of games that you're going to just go back to and play at some point. And if this can occupy that space, like Tetris, I just feel like playing it. Um, that's good. I think they have what microtransactions and stuff like that. People can always just keep coming back to it. For me, I haven't played it in forever since it launched. But I think that there's easily like kids or families or whoever that just want to jump on with like their friends and play for a little bit. And it being free to play, that's just gonna give it life over the next 5-10 years.
Mhm. Yeah. Right now, I'm looking at Twitch as we talk, and I'm seeing that it's probably it's it's sitting at a number two game on Twitch right now for viewers, right, viewership. It's beating out Apex by just 1,000 views, and then it's beating out Fortnite by an additional 20,000. So and then Valorant sitting at 192, and I think that's just because Schroed is playing. But yeah, these games, I don't know. I think I think you're right in that aspect that if the backing of it, they'll make enough money. They'll be alright. It don't need to be the biggest game in the world, and maybe that's a strategy in itself. Making very like 5 smaller games, like using the money that they earn from this one and make another game that's like similar in a way. Maybe even bringing it to mobile will allow it to kind of have more legs and create a more revenue for the company. It doesn't have to be a Fortnite to make that much money. Fortnite spends a lot of money just trying to stay on top, trying to stay active, trying to stay relevant in everyone's eyes. That sometimes maybe that's like not the best strategy, especially when you don't have the backing or the money of that type of caliber.
Yeah. I
So,
think for small budget games, it's a lot
mm,
easier to do that, like you said. Because like Rocket League, again, didn't have a big budget, but it just became so popular that it was paying like for so much
but
stuff.
yeah,
Because who bought Rocket League? Was it Epic? I think
yeah,
they bought that
Epic
too. Like you
bought
said,
the
they
league.
want to have all these cheaper games. Even the maintenance to like keep them online and add new content is fairly cheap, but they're making millions on millions every day. That is just worth it to keep them around.
Right, and I think it's interesting. So, yeah, I want to say Fall Guys fell off, but at the same time, it found its place. So that's fine. It it did both. Anything on Fall Guys, Jalen? You gonna jump back in?
Uh, not not for real. For real. I mean, I thought it's funny that you brought it up because I was playing it today. but I was playing it with my nephew, and he thought it was just the amazing game and stuff like that. But I mean,
uh,
I don't know. I don't think it's gonna go back to where it was. I think it has the potential to stay relevant for a long time. It's an easy get
Is
in
it?
game. You don't gotta you said what?
Sorry to interrupt. You can finish that.
No, I was just saying like it's easy to get into, like it's a simple game. Like I played it with some friends before. They thought it was just cool that, they don't really play games and stuff like that. Um it's just a real quick turnaround. It's rewarding when you win. It got some comedic portions to it, especially if you like party up with some friends and stuff too. So,
Yeah.
but I
Honestly, I
don't
kind of want to play
think
right
it.
now.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to get in. You know what I'm saying? You
Because
just
I was gonna say like I don't think it fell off, but like especially because like I think Fall Guys um is like I don't know if it has more clout, but it's been better than the last few Mario Party drops. And like Mario Party used to be that game that Fall Guys is.
yeah, that is
Yeah,
a
Mario
hundred
Party
percent
got
true.
way too convoluted. Like you can't just get in and get out and set everything up. You can party up and just have some fun with your friends real
Yeah,
quick and
it
just
it
Hmm.
barely has online, and you can't party up online, or if there's online, there's no voice chat and all this stuff. And we're like, Fall Guys gets rid of all of that, has all the infrastructure it needs. It's fun, straight to the point, and it's free. And they continuously update it, and it's like, and
it's all you
there's
need.
no game to compete to Mario Kart like that, but like there probably could be a game that comes out in the next few years that does Mario Kart but better, and because it has a better online than Nintendo, it just pops off. So,
Yeah.
anyways, yeah, Fall Guys, I think it found a good spot, and it has no competition right now.
What do y'all think about Among Us? Do you think the wave has ended for Among Us or no?
Uh, I think it has some capacity. I know they still doing updates and stuff on it, but it just Among Us got too much. Like you can you can easily get in and out of the game of Among Us, but it's not as simple as Fall Guys, and it's a lot of idle time in Among Us. Right? You play a match, you get killed off jump, and then now people just text in to try to figure out who it is. Sometimes you can set something up where people got voices and stuff like that, but it can get annoying sometimes, like pretty quickly. And then sometimes people don't want to be the imposter. Sometimes people do want to be the imposter, and it just kind of Fall Guys is a lot more simpler. You just get in the game and y'all basically just jump in and move around. You use the stick and then you just jump around. Like Among Us, you do tasks and stuff. Sometimes the tasks get annoying. Like it ain't as simple as Fall Guys. And I enjoy Among Us because of the people I was playing with. But will I play Among Us by myself with some randos? Absolutely not. You got people trolling and stuff. That's an environment where people can easily troll just because of the stakes on there. Versus uh, Fall Guys, I mean, people can grab you and stuff like that, but it's limited with the trolling and stuff like that, and it's just again simpler to get into. Like it's just way simple. Like you ain't got to do much.
Right. No, I
Then
agree.
you can, yeah.
I think that because it was just like a free phone game that people can pick up, it will always like be around because like people could just randomly pick it up and play it with friends.
Hmm.
But as far as like its overall success, I feel like Fortnite has like eaten their lunch because
Yeah.
they aped it pretty quick. And if you play the mode, it's the exact same thing, but it also has all the Fortnite benefits. You can use your own characters, you can use your own emotes, blah blah blah. It has built-in um, party infrastructure and all that. You can earn XP towards the battle
Wait,
pass.
Fortnite
So
stole their stuff and put it in their game?
yeah.
I had no idea that happened.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
they got a game
it
type.
was quick. It was because like it came out and it was super popular for about a month, but like I think exactly within a month, Fortnite came out with I think it's called Imposter Mode or something, and it's literally Fall Guys. You are dropped in like a spaceship or whatever.
Oh, you mean Among Us,
Everybody
not
go
Fall Guys.
around do
Okay.
tasks. Oh yeah, not Fall Guys, my bad.
Among
Among
Us.
Us, yeah. Yeah, you dropped in a ship, everybody do the tasks, you pick out the imposters, you and all that extra stuff. So I feel like they ate Among Us lunch.
Dang, I didn't know
Man,
that.
yeah, that's crazy. I didn't know that either.
I didn't know that. That makes a lot of sense of why it's lacking. But wow, just a wow. That's
What
interesting.
else?
Bungie's working on the mobile Destiny. Um, that's not really news to me, honestly. I could see that coming. I think it's a way too late. But any thoughts on the Bungie reportedly working on a Destiny mobile game?
Nah, Death Star.
Yeah,
What's Death
man.
Star?
Yeah, what's that thought? What's that thought? That's how we rocking now, guys. I'm sorry. That's how we
Uh,
rocking now.
I'll be honest. I feel like they doing it for the money, but it doesn't
Yeah,
make sense because
yeah,
Destiny is one of those games where you want to have access to your whole library and access to
yes.
everything over the whole past two
Mm,
generations. So if it's a separate mobile game, I feel like that defeats the whole purpose of it.
mm-hmm.
At best, it would just be like being able to play your existing character on mobile, but it's not going to be that. So I don't really see the whole point of it.
Yeah,
Whereas like Apex Mobile, it's kind of weird too, but at least it's offering something unique, like it's third person and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't really see the point of Destiny Mobile.
yeah. Me neither. Um,
I'm
and
sure
that
they don't either.
Nah, I think that's cash grab. Maybe that's something that they wanted to provide. That's probably something they sold to Sony, so now they gotta put it out. So they just got bought for a good price. So, um, and then lastly, I think it was going to be My Hero Academia. They're coming out with a battle royale game. Uh, it's kind of like a it's battle royale 3v3. It's supposed to be like it's supposed to be like combat. And it's gonna have that element, maybe like some Apex style stuff, but yeah, it's by Bandai Namco. It's a large open arenas, and it's 3v3. I don't know. I don't know about this, but it could be cool. I just never seen Bandai do anything that made anything cool. To be honest, they really kind of blow it most of the time. But
What you mean? You don't like them arena fighters they be coming out with for every anime?
nah, I used to. I used to like the ninja ones when they first came out. I used to like the Naruto ones, but they started just doing it with everything, so it was not good. I would think they would do more polish to Demon Slayer, which they tried, but it was just more of the same. They kind of like got it to the level of a Naruto game and like left it. But I'm like, Demon Slayer is so popular. I don't know how you could miss. I mean, it's a 7 out of 10 game. Technically, that's what they gave it, but I don't know. I just think Battle Royale ain't for everybody and for everything, and we'll see. I have been enjoying. I played like 3 matches of that one game that came out, Josh. It was like the Chinese battle royale.
Or whatever.
Yeah, I liked some of aspects of it. I thought it was pretty cool, like the combat, but at the same time, I thought it was gimmicky and like you can gank people.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It didn't feel as if it was like really structured properly or like felt really rewarding to beat someone because it was just like us jumping people. That was it. So it wasn't like they were having like a Sekiro showdown where you can use your combat and really beat people. So yeah.
I will say I wanted to try it out. I haven't played it yet, but I might give it a try. But I think that I'm not gonna play the My Hero game, but I think it's cool for melee battle royales to keep coming out because there's not, I don't think, enough of them. Because there was one like Spellbreak where it's third person, you like throw fireballs at people, and Blizzard just bought them, so that's good for them. But more games like that would be cool. But there was one that had a beta recently. Uh, I'll try to find the name, but it was a wrestling battle royale, and it's like you're in a big city, and you can get on top of a building and like grab somebody and like suplex them off the building and stuff like that. And it looks fun and creative, and like I think that's good for the genre, and not everybody just like copying like a PUBG style game.
Right.
So and My Hero is gonna find its niche audience, but hopefully these other games can like be experimental and like find like success.
Yeah, I think that's the key there. It's just trying to, as you stated, it's trying to find success in these games. I think there could be a pretty cool market for it, and I think people might be excited for the right game. Especially if it's 3v3 and you're really competing. Like I don't want to go the For Honor route, to be honest. The For Honor route it had got a lot of things right, but it also got some things wrong. If that was like battle royale esque, I don't know. Maybe
it might have been fun if it
having
was 100 people.
yeah, it at least the randomization makes the fights different. Like okay, yeah, you're gonna be fighting like the big the one lady with the sword. I forget her name now. The one that was working everybody, but you're gonna be fighting her play style, but she doesn't have that sword. Maybe she has like a spear because that's what she was able to find. Like bringing that randomization element into the game could help in its longevity and also being able to showcase that it could be a little bit different. So Yeah.
It's called Rumbleverse, by the way.
Rumbleverse.
Yeah, the wrestling battle royale game.
Have we talked? I think we'll talk about multiverses next time. We talked about it already, but I haven't played it or anything, so
Mm.
that's the expectation, is to kind of play it soon. Hopefully, I don't know if it's coming out anytime soon, but I wanted to try it, multiverses. But yeah, that's pretty much the show. I wanted to mention that right now, Mass Effect Legendary Edition is free for Prime Day. If you go on Amazon, I don't really know how to redeem it yet, but at this point, it's supposed to be free. So check it out, and how to redeem that. And that's pretty cool that they're giving away some games. They're also giving away. There's like two other games they're giving away. There was Mass Effect. Grid Legends. Are they giving away Grid Legends? Yes. Amazon is giving out the racing games Grid Legends and Need for Speed Heat. Heat was the newer one that came out, so I might pick up all of them because they're free. So there you go. But thanks for listening. If you got to this end of the episode, I really appreciate you as always. You're the real MVP here. But thanks for listening. Anything you guys want to say before we get up out of here?
Not this one.
I said, "Ooh, we got real quiet, real quiet."
No,
Man,
that's the podcast. This was this 50?
Oh, shout out to the 50 boy. This is the 50. Shout out to 50 episodes. That's crazy. We have been doing it for quite
Most of
some
them was
time.
on time.
Most of them was on time. Some of them were not, but don't judge us. We just human. That's what we need. A little bit more honesty in our inability to be perfect. Stop thinking everything perfect, people. But yeah, this episode 50. It's been a long, hard journey. I remember the first episode like it was yesterday, and then we got the Square Enix boys. That's when you got the whole story about how the Square Enix fanboys started. But yeah, we got some history up in here. But as always, we appreciate you guys listening, especially if you listen to all 50 episodes. That's crazy, because some of them was a doozy. But thanks for listening. We'll talk to you guys in 2 weeks. Peace.